Hello friends. So this is the second little project that I am going to show you and do a little tutorial on so that anybody who misses the gathering can watch, or you can be reminded of what we did. And this is very similar to the other project. It's so easy to do, and it's growing bean sprouts in plastic containers inside the house again. So what I usually do is I buy these bags of Mung bean sprouts. There's lots of different kinds of bean sprouts that you can use, but it's taken me a very long time to get even through this bag, so I haven't really tried any other types, but there's other kinds of like soybeans, other beans that you can sprout as well. But these you can find at most Asian grocery stores, probably even at a lot of regular grocery stores, and certainly you can order them online. The first thing you do is you have to soak them in water for about 8 hours or so, which softens them up. And then I take, this is called flour sack towel or cheesecloth or something of that nature. And I have a very cheap colander. And this colander fits perfectly inside of this other bowl to where the bottom of the colander does not touch the bottom of the bowl, because we're going to be pouring water in here periodically and we don't want the bottom of the colander to be sitting in the water. And we just line the bottom of the colander while it's sitting in the bowl with the flour sack, and we just take the wet seeds or sprouts and we try and lay them as flat as possible and as best we can in one layer. It is okay if they're overlapping a little and touching each other. That's not that big of a deal. And then I usually make sure they have a nice amount of water after I fold in the sack, cover them up. And the wet cloth is going to keep these beans hydrated. The other way that you can do this is you can do it in a jar, and it is a very popular way of doing it. I have found several shortcomings with the jar method. Number one, it gets slimy if you leave it in there for too long. Number two, you basically do the same thing in a jar and you put cheesecloth over the top of it. You have to drain it out and pour water back in, and drain it out and pour water back in. And it's very high maintenance. You're supposed to like check on it like 3 times a day. And I find this is a much more forgiving method for if you forget to water it, if you forget to even check on it for a day or two. A lot of times it's still perfectly fine. So the cloth is wet. It's sitting in here. I'm going to do one more. And then all you have to do is cover it with a dark cloth and leave it in a dark place. And usually in 3 to 4 days, you'll start seeing the sprouts. They'll get rather large. And again, it's pretty forgiving. You can leave it for 5, 6, 7 days and you'll have lovely bean sprouts at the end. I'll show you what they look like when we're done, and I will show you how I like to clean them. Okay, so here are the mung bean sprouts that I put in on Tuesday night. It is now Friday night. I've watered them once, meaning I just put a little bit of water over the top to soak the fabric to keep the beans moistened. There's a little bit of water under there. You can dump it out or just leave it in, which will create some moisture, but you'd never want the beans to actually sit inside of the water. And you can see that at this point they look like this, and they're growing nicely and they're a nice little size, but definitely have more to go. You could eat them like this, but I like to wait till they get fairly long before I pull them out. And this one also looks basically the same. A little crowded, but that's okay. I'm gonna cover it back up, and I'll probably water it again maybe tomorrow, and pull it out and keep checking it every couple of days, watering it and checking it every couple of days. And then when they're a nice size, like maybe I like to go about 2 inches long or so, I'll pull them out and start cleaning them off to eat. All right, so here are the mung bean sprouts now. I put them in on Tuesday of last week. It's Monday, so not even a week. And now the sprouts are basically done. That's how long they are. And you can see they're nice and thick. And this one also, very similar. And I'll show you how I like to clean them. Okay, so now that our sprouts are done, this is how I like to clean them. I'll pull them out from the colander, and you'll see that they have a lot of these little green thin skins that were on top of the beans. And if you just throw them in some water and shake them vigorously, the little thin skins usually come off very easily. And then if you have any, you know, residual pieces, obviously you can pick them out with your hands. Really, I think that the only reason people take them off is because it's just nice visually. I've eaten plenty of them before, and they don't taste bitter or strange or ruin the flavor of the sprouts. So it's really more kind of just a convention that people take them off. Anyway, you continue doing this, and after you're done, I usually put them on a towel and let them sit out to dry for a while, because obviously you don't want them soaking wet and next to each other in a bag or anything inside the fridge. So let them dry out as best you can before you actually put them in a container. You can put them in a plastic bag or a Tupperware, but I actually like to put them in these bags. I'll show you. I get these reusable bags to take to the grocery store to put my produce in, and they're little mesh bags, so they have a lot of air circulation. I find these are the best for storing the bean sprouts. Of course, if you cook them or marinate them, which I love to do, Korean style, they'll keep a good long while in the fridge. And just make sure that you let them dry pretty thoroughly before you put them in any kind of container. And enjoy your bean sprouts. There is one last thing that I would like to say about the mung bean sprout project, and that is at the end of the project, you're gonna have your cheesecloth looking like this. And I really like to reuse this, so I just wash it thoroughly, just with water, but if it makes you feel happy, you can always throw it in the wash. And I just pull out as much of the organic matter as I can, and then I let it dry thoroughly, and once it's dried, you can usually pull the rest of whatever might be in there out. So that you can reuse it at least a few times before you throw it away. That is all.